The galaxy had grown used to defeat. One by one, mighty fleets from every corner of space were obliterated by the relentless Zervani armada. It didn't matter how advanced your technology was or how many ships you had, if you stood against them, you fell. Planets surrendered before a shot was fired, civilizations crumbled without a whisper, and hope itself seemed like a forgotten myth. Resistance had become symbolic at best. Until something unprecedented happened on the edge of the Tavarine Drift. A lone Terran warship appeared outdated, outnumbered, and seemingly doomed. But instead of fleeing, it engaged. The galaxy watched in disbelief as the TSS Dauntless stood its ground against an entire Zervani assault force. What began as a suicide mission turned into a stand that would change history forever. This wasn't about technology or firepower. This was about something deeper, something the Zervani never calculated: the human refusal to fall. The silence before the storming, the outer rim of Sector 7K, near a dwarf star called Averroes, Earth's last orbital relay station Lancer outpost, went dark. No explosions, no transmissions, no distress call. Just silence within hours. Advanced listening posts on Luna and Titan confirmed what Earth's high command feared: Zervani ships had entered human space. The Terran Assembly called an emergency session. They reviewed simulations. They counted ships. They estimated survival rates. The numbers were bleak. Of the 132 vessels in the Terran interstellar fleet, only 16 were considered battle-ready. The rest were refits, training platforms, or museum pieces like the TSS Dauntless, a heavy cruiser decommissioned and recommissioned more times than anyone could count. It was that ship, and its captain, who chose not to wait for orders. Captain Ilara Miles had seen war. She had lost her sister on Vortis Prime and half her command during the Grom uprising. By now, she had nothing left to prove and every reason to walk away. But when the Zervani came, she didn't hesitate. They don't know Earth, she told her crew, but they will. Her crew veterans, hackers, engineers, and misfits stood. Many had served with her for years. Most were old enough to remember when Earth was a whisper in the galaxy, not a punchline. The Dauntless launched quietly, without ceremony. Its hull still bore burn marks from a battle 15 years prior. Its engines whined when pushed to maximum. Its I-core, Helix, had been rebuilt from civilian scrap, but it had soul. The enemy, the Zervani, did not understand resistance. Their tactics were built on precision and prediction. They analyzed cultures, adapted strategies, and executed mathematically flawless assaults. They had studied the Terrans. Emotionally volatile, fragmented, technologically primitive compared to others. In simulations, Earth fell in under 36 hours. So when the Dauntless destroyed their recon drone net over Ganymede, the Zervani were curious. When it lured 2 frigates into Jupiter's gravity well and watched them disintegrate, they were confused. And when it crippled their command ship over Io with a single modified EMI torpedo, they realized something. They had miscalculated. David in the Void news of Dauntless actions spread fast despite Earth censorship. Pirate networks, rebel groups, and scattered remnants of the Galactic Accord began broadcasting the ship's coordinates, tracking its impossible survival. Each day, Dauntless pushed further. They hit supply routes, saved civilian convoys, and downloaded Zervani tactical data from damaged ships. Captain Miles fought with more than just weapons. She fought with psychology. She left behind burned Zervani banners and encrypted messages on captured frequencies. "We're still here. You missed your target. Earth says hello." The ship became a myth, a specter in space. The ghost that wouldn't die. The breaking point. But the Zervani were relentless. After 18 days, the Dauntless was cornered near the Worms Pass Nebula. 3 dreadnoughts, 10 destroyers, and over 100 drone craft. Escape was mathematically impossible. Captain Miles convened her crew. She gave them a choice: every escape pod was prepped. Coordinates were uploaded. She wouldn't force anyone to stay. Not one person left. Engineer Vance rewired the plasma injectors to push the core 180% beyond capacity. Pilot Aura boosted the ship's inertial dampeners beyond safety limits. And Helix, ever adaptive, began creating combat simulations faster than even the Zorvani AI. They fought for 6 hours. They flew into the storm. Not away from it. They lost the aft battery. The medical bay was obliterated. Communications were jammed. And then an explosion rocked the lead dreadnought. The arrival, what the Zorvani hadn't accounted for, was inspiration across the solar system. Other Terran ships hearing Dauntless Stan began disobeying orders. TSS Titanfall jumped in from Mars orbit. The merchant cruiser Altara converted its cargo into kinetic warheads, even civilian. Ships with plasma welders joined in. The sky lit up with thousands of engine flares. The Terran fleet, broken and scattered just days before, arrived and mass united not by command, but by belief. The Zorvani panicked. Turning the tide. Terran ships weren't faster, they weren't stronger, but they were furious. They fought dirty. They overloaded their cores. They used asteroid fields as cover, plasma trails as decoys, magnetic mines built from broken satellites, and leading them was Dauntless Guard. Smoking, but still flying, they disabled the Zorvani command array. Using a suicide drone swarm, they cracked open a dreadnought. Using solar flares reflected from a nearby moon. And in one final maneuver, they lured the last enemy vessel into a black hole's event horizon by faking a ship-wide meltdown. The aftermath, the Zorvani did what no one thought possible. They retreated. Their ships folded out of space one by one. Their war AI shut down mid-transmission. Their last recorded message? Human probability index exceeds threshold. Ceasing engagement. The galaxy reeled. The species that had broken every fleet, turned every resistance into dust, had met its match not in overwhelming firepower, but in one ship that refused to fall. Legacy, the Dauntless, was nearly lost. Captain Miles was found unconscious. Plasma burns across her arms. 41 crew members were killed. The ship's AI suffered near total memory loss, but it survived. A monument now floats in low orbit over Earth. A steel rendering of the Dauntless, pointed toward the stars. Every year, the children of New Terra recite the same line. If one ship stands, we all stand. And in distant systems where hope once lay buried, they whisper a single name when they look up at the stars. Dauntle SS. The last transmission. HSS Resolute had vanished from galactic charts after the first week of the Krylon incursion. Its crew was presumed dead, its fate a mystery. But 42 days after the fall of the Terran Third Fleet, a signal pierced the void. It wasn't a call for help, it was a warning. The voice belonged to Captain Alea Rourke, a name etched into Terran military history. To all surviving vessels, she said, her voice raw but unwavering, the Resolute still stands. We have taken refuge in the Tartarus Rift. Krylon forces have made a fatal mistake. They didn't finish the job, and now we're coming back. What? Shocked the listening Terran forces wasn't just a defiance, it was the signal's clarity. The Tartarus Rift was a black hole cluster, a place ships entered only to vanish. For the Resolute to survive in that graveyard meant one thing: they had evolved. Engineering, the impossible. The Resolute was originally a Terran-class VI Vanguard, a warship designed for endurance, not power. But isolation forced innovation. Its engineers, led by Chief Milo Tran, cannibalized enemy wreckage, merged alien tech with Terran systems, and pushed its AI subroutines into autonomy protocols that had been banned for decades. The result? A hybrid ship. Faster than any human vessel, smarter than any known AI, and shielded with a composite material harvested from shattered Krylon armor coated to reflect enemy targeting. The crew adapted too. Soldiers became scientists. Medics became tacticians. Rourke's command style shifted from military rigidity to creative survival. Every move, every shot, every recalibration was tailored for one goal: to strike back smarter. The ship was no longer Terran. It was something more. Something terrifying. The return of the Ghost. The Krylon Armada was tightening its grip around the core human systems. Colonies had fallen, orbital defense grids were rubble, and morale across the Terran Confederation was crumbling. The resistance was scattered, relying on guerrilla tactics and desperate sabotage runs. Then, sensors picked up an impossible signature. At the edge of the core belt, the HSS Resolute, the signal was unmistakable. Its transponder had been marked destroyed 6 weeks ago, yet here it was burning a hole through space, cloaked in alien distortion tech, charging directly into a Krylon blockade. Fleet Command thought it was a trap. Civilians thought it was propaganda. Krylon warlords dismissed it as human desperation. But then came the footage. A Krylon destroyer sliced in half, its internal systems shredded not by weapons, but by virus-coated logic bombs launched from the Resolute's hacked torpedoes. Then a second ship fell. Then a third dot. By the time the Resolute reached Terran space, the myth had become a movement. Fire and Fury Captain Rourke didn't return to play defense. She had a war to end. The Terran military was reluctant to put faith in a single ship, even one now brimming with unknown tech. But when Krylon command ships began vanishing from deep space, leaving only fragments and encrypted audio loops that whispered, "We warned you," the Resolute earned.